The BBC have a vast network covering a multiple of options. Every station is aimed at a different audience. For example, Radio 1 would have much younger age profile to those listening to Radio 4, and so on. Radio shows and stations have a strong belief in this role and have kept to it for years. But are they still aiming at the radio target audiences they first set out to?
It varies from station to station. Some stations have got a very clear idea of who they set out to achieve, and they got that audience, and therefore they build on it. Like the gold stations, for example, knew their target audience and kind of matured with it.
I've got to say, certain radio stations do hit the targets, like Capital are very good at getting the young listeners, especially in London, but I think Radio 1 did lose the meaning what Radio 1 is for younger listeners.
To me, if a radio station's got a winning formula, you might need to adapt your expectations of who's listening to you and why, rather than saying we're attracting the wrong people, and try and change.
Will the head of these radio stations and shows change to suit the audience, or they continue to stick by the rules? Either way, this doesn't mean the audience have to. Will the head of these radio stations notice and change, or will listeners continue to flick through the stations until they hear something they like? Sarah Freer, BBC Studios, Leeds.